Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, this middle section, looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme of the reading, which I will jump into in just a second. But we still have a different tarot deck we'll be using for each side of this connection that we will be pulling from, as well as this advice deck that I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, Sagittarius, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be swapped. So this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what does help and resonates with your situation and leave the rest. All right. Sagittarius, on your side of this connection, you have someone is unhappy with the Nine of Swords. So what I'm gathering is that there's a little bit of unhappiness, maybe even a lot of bit of unhappiness coming from your side of this connection. With this Nine of Swords here, there's a lot of stress and anxiety surrounding this connection. Maybe second guessing them, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And, when we start to when we start to feel that stress and be anxious in situations with other people, we start to typically view things through the lens of our insecurity. So we assume the worst. We look at their actions and we look at them as if they are affirming our own insecurities. And I feel as if that's something that has kind of happened in this connection too, is a lot of your insecurities have been brought to the surface through this connection. Now, this person has commitment with the Knight of Swords here. So running from commitment. I do feel as if this person is definitely pushing this connection away. Now, even if you guys are married and you're technically committed to each other, I still feel as if when it comes to the emotional commitment, this person is one foot in, 1 foot out, or keeping you at a distance or something like that, which is making it very difficult for you to know what's best. I feel like there's more of a reason for this than you might be aware of at this time, but we'll dive into that when we dive into tarot. In between this connection, you have allow for time and space with the Empress. So right now is a time to figure out what is best for you, because the overall theme of this reading is power. So this is about stepping into and standing in your power to make the best decision for you in this connection, because I do feel as if this has been very draining for you, and I kind of feel as if it's now about trying to find your way to a little bit more of stable ground, because I feel like the stress and the anxiety of this connection has been a lot to deal with. But let's start by looking at your side, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Someone is unhappy with the Nine of Swords. The Eight of Swords and the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So there's the lack of commitment, the lack of reciprocation that's coming out as the Six of Pentacles in reverse, but then it's accompanied by the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So for some of you, things maybe were actually going pretty well, and then when it came time for the commitment to take place, this person kind of ripped that rug out from underneath you. So that could be something as well. Now with the Eight of Swords, I feel as if your limiting beliefs about love, regarding love, are being like I kind of talked about those insecurities, being pulled to the surface. Limiting beliefs such as I'm not good enough, I'm unlovable, things that we have a tendency that kind of can sometimes come out when we feel as if someone isn't choosing us or committing to us, and we feel as if it has something to do with us and our own value. So I feel as if that's something that is heavily being brought to the surface in this connection, which is, it's a lot to bear. It's a lot to hold. So I feel like you are feeling pretty weighed down by this connection with the Eight of Swords and Nine of Swords, very in your head. I feel like you're very, very in your head about this, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to handle this moving forward. If this is a past connection, maybe still having a hard time shaking it, kind of shaking the connection. The potential. It's always the killer. Ten of Cups in reverse with the World. The potential of this connection that you saw, the potential of this person kept you stuck in a cycle. I don't know what this cycle is yet. But it kept you stuck in a cycle because you saw, because the Ten of Cups, it's both potential and expectation. So when we see the potential in someone or something, we then attach ourselves to the expectation of that thing. And we say, since I see such great potential in this, this must work out. Because if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be unhappy. I'm never going to be loved. I'm never going to have an opportunity to experience something like this again. And we limit ourselves, which is what this Eight of Swords is kind of how we limit ourselves with our own beliefs, and how when we have limited beliefs about what it is that we can experience and love, we have a tendency to stay where we don't really belong, or we have a tendency to accept way less than what we deserve because we think that nothing better is going to come along. So we accept poor treatment, we accept crossed boundaries, we accept being in an energy of self-sacrifice because we think that that is the only way that we are ever going to be able to be loved in the way that we desire. And I feel as if that's a big thing that's been coming through in this connection for you, which is why I don't know, there's definitely a distance between these two energies. I don't know if it was your decision. I don't know if it was their decision. There's definitely kind of some sort of separation here. Even if you're like living together, there's an emotional distance here. And I feel as if that's actually some divine protection at play to allow for this time and space for you to be able to figure out what's best for you. Sometimes it takes separating our energy from others to really figure out what is going to be best for us moving forward. And I feel as if that's been really difficult for you to do because you've seen this potential, you've seen what this could be, you have a lot of feelings and love and compassion for this person, which is making it difficult to make the best decision for you because you are so focused on the connection as a whole, which is common, it happens, but it often can sometimes pigeonhole us into staying stuck in an energy where we're not really happy, but we think, oh, well, eventually things will change, or eventually this person will finally give me what it is that I deserve, and then, we sit there and kind of allow ourselves to suffer out of hopes that things will eventually get better, and then they never do. And I feel like that's kind of what this cycle is talking about. Queen of Swords in reverse. So closed heart and closed mind, Sagittarius. Closed heart and closed mind, but to what? Because there's the Nine of Swords with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Closed heart and closed mind to what? You could be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You don't have to be. In fact, I don't even know if you are. I'm just seeing this King of Cups. Because you also have this air sign energy, but this feels like you. Closed heart and closed mind, but to what? Almost like closed heart, closed mind to anything but this connection working out. Or closed heart, closed mind. There's the Five of Pentacles. Because, yeah, it's almost as like your fear of losing this connection. Now, this might not be something you're currently dealing with, but maybe you were dealing with. It's like your fear of losing this with the Five of Pentacles is overriding your fear of losing yourself in this. And that's why I feel like things have been, that's why the overall energy is power. Because things have been so challenging in this connection for you but it's almost as if you felt like it was worth it because of maybe where the connection would eventually go. You're like, oh, if I just, just got to power through, just got to get through this, and then eventually things will be good, and we'll be happy because there's so much good and so much potential in all of these things. But then you just repeat this cycle of never reaching that moment where things are good. So this is about taking your power back, doing what's best for you, regardless of whether or not that means losing this person. And I'm not saying that's the case, but we have to be willing to choose ourselves regardless of what that outcome might look like. But before, I feel like I'm getting a little too ahead of myself there. So what I want to do now, I'm switching it up this week. I'm actually, sorry, upside down. I am going to hop on over to this person's energy, and then I'll come back to you, and then I'll go back to them. But I feel like this helps me kind of build out the story a little bit more. So let's see what they're dealing with. They have commitment with the Knight of Swords. So running from commitment here. In reverse, because I can already tell you there's stagnancy in this energy towards you, and then there's emotional unavailability, self-sabotage. Okay, this person's running from a whole lot more than just committing to you. I don't know what yet. Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Chariot in reverse, seeing both of those, there's definitely this stagnancy. I don't know if things came to like a dead stop, like maybe, again, I do kind of get this feeling that things were good for a while, that everything seemed fine, and then all of a sudden this person was like, and like put the brakes on. And it's like you're dealing with this whiplash. Yeah, that's what I feel like, this whiplash of like, what the hell? Like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Why did this happen? I thought things were good. And then what that starts to do is bring out those insecurities. It must be me. Did I say something wrong? Did they not like the way that I looked? Or whatever, our mind tends to wander to certain places. But I feel like this lack of commitment actually has very little to do with you. Because this is an energy of self-sabotage. So sabotaging good in their life out of fear. When we don't feel good enough for anything, like even if you don't feel good enough for the level of success that you want, and you're provided with the opportunity to have that success. If you don't feel good enough for it, you'll sabotage it away. Maybe you won't work as hard at it. You'll prioritize things that aren't so good for you, and you'll end up losing the job or whatever the case is. So what I'm getting at is that's kind of what's happening with this person. Sometimes and it's funny that we as humans do this, when we're on the precipice of receiving what it is that we desire, we actually have more fear about getting what it is that we desire, because we've never been at that level, and we don't know how to handle it. We know how to handle lack. We know how to handle uncertainty. We know how to handle chasing things, working for things. We don't really know how to handle actually existing and just being happy with where we're at, which is why I feel like this person, it's almost as if whatever these deep-seated reasons are for their self-sabotage, I'm not so sure, but I do definitely feel as if they're running from this commitment is self-sabotage within itself, because I don't feel as if it's not that they don't love or care about you. I feel as if there's something deeper here. Now, the way that they justify that in their head, right, that's going to depend on the person, but this person's energy towards Sagittarius. Running from commitment, self-sabotage. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. Imbalanced priorities. Ego. Focusing on what doesn't matter. Imbalanced priorities, ego, and focusing on what doesn't matter. Almost like trying to think of a good example. This ego card is exactly what I just described. You know, our ego's number one goal is to keep us alive. Literally, your ego is your survival mechanism. So what it's going to do is it's actually going to keep you in places that it knows that it can survive, even if those places aren't good for you. That's why our ego actually sabotages the good in our life, and our subconscious will often try to choose what we're used to as opposed to what we desire, because that it knows it can survive that. Our ego wants what it can survive. So for this person, I get this feeling that this person has never actually received unconditional love before. It's either been conditional or transactional, or maybe depending on what they've been through, maybe they haven't really received a whole lot of love at all. So then you come around, right? And you see all of this potential in this connection. You see how good things could be here, and you have all this love to give this person, and you can't understand why someone would turn that down. So in your mind, it must have to do with you, right? In your mind, you're like, oh, it must be me. But it's not. Because I feel as if what this person, imbalanced priorities, focusing on what doesn't matter, their ego kind of in control, they're doing whatever it takes to protect themselves from getting hurt. And what that means is pushing away love. If they're not used to it, it's not going to feel safe for them to accept it. Now, that's their stuff that they have to work on. They have to be willing to do the healing to figure out why they're unable to give and receive love in a healthy way, and why they prioritize things that don't matter, and why they run away from good. It's not your burden to bear, which is why I feel that there's kind of this need to figure out what the best decision is for you moving forward, and ultimately trying to figure out what this is trying to teach you, because it's obvious that this has been painful. At the very least, this has been stressful, and I feel like that is trying to poke at some deeper things that are trying to be brought to the surface. But get another message for this person. It's their past. Their past keeps them running. Look at that. There's the same Nine of Swords. Six of Cups in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse. They have a past. Ooh, but this is what's interesting. There you are. Queen of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles. You are actually what it is that they desire. But they have this past. This past of maybe failed relationships, trauma, who knows, right? It's going to be different for everybody, so I don't want to get too specific into what it is for this person in particular. But they definitely have this past that keeps them from taking action in the way that they desire. It again, kind of breaking down human psychology, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. So as using this person as an example, the 5% of them that's conscious is saying, man, I really, Sagittarius is that kind of person that I desire. It's the kind of person I want to be with. It's the kind of person that I would like to love, and whatever the case might be, whether it's romantic, platonic, familial, whatever the case might be. But then they have this subconscious, because our subconscious beliefs, the 95% of us that actually makes decisions for us, is going to be made up of what we've experienced and how we've internalized those experiences. So if this person has experienced limited love, conditional love, transactional love, unhealthy love, then in their mind, maybe they feel unlovable, unworthy, not good enough. They think that it would be crazy for anybody to love them the way that you do. And that subconscious, that again makes up 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions. So it's interesting, because this person has this desire for what it is that you have to give, but yet at the same time is doing everything in their power to push it away. And what you need to know, Sagittarius, is it is not your job or burden or responsibility, nor can you succeed in intervening between that person's war, between the person of them that desires love and the version of them that pushes it away. You are not going to, you will only come out injured if you try to get in the middle of that person's war in between themselves, and maybe you already have. Okay. Let's hop back on over to you. All right, this is for Sagittarius' side of this connection. Sagittarius' side of this connection. Whoa, 5 of Swords. Interesting. Okay. That makes more sense. I was like, what? 5 of Swords in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse, 5 of Wands in reverse. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay. There's this need to be very willing to be very honest with yourself about what's going on in this connection. When we see the good in somebody and the potential of what they can be, it's so easy for us to get caught up in what can I do to support this person in reaching their potential, right? When you love and you care about someone and you see the best in someone, all you want to do is help them get to that place. But, and I feel like I've said this specific analogy for some reason in a few readings this week, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And what I'm getting at with that is that you cannot push somebody to grow, heal, align with their greatest potential who is not willing to do so themselves. Because most people actually don't think there's anything wrong with them. Most people think that running away from what's good for them, they'll justify it using their ego's survival mechanisms, and they'll create a story in their head that justifies their actions. You cannot make people see that what they're doing is harmful to themselves if they are not willing to see that. And I feel as if you're kind of needing to get a little bit out of the mentality that this person is out to get you or is directly hurting you. Now, what I'm not saying is that the hurt that you've experienced in this connection isn't justified, because that's not what I'm saying. I am absolutely not saying that you don't deserve to feel the way that you do in this connection. What I am saying is that in order for you to make the best decision for yourself, I do think that you're going to have to see things from all sides. And you're going to have to understand that this person's inability to commit, show up for you, love you in the way that you deserve, doesn't have anything to do with you. And that way you can say, okay, knowing what this person has shown me and knowing how I feel based on what this person has shown me, what is the best decision for myself? I don't know, I just feel like there's this need to kind of get out of the mentality that it has to do with you. But that's going to take being really honest with yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going to keep going because I feel like we'll get more clarity because I feel like what's happening is, and we all have a tendency to do this, when we don't understand somebody's actions because we're not them, we project what we would do in that situation. So in our mind, we're saying, if I were this person, if you were this person, Sagittarius, you're saying, and you were receiving all of the love that you're showing up with in this connection, you would never push that away unless you just like hated the person or didn't care about them at all, right? So you're going to project what you would do in that situation onto them because that's what you know, right? That's how you perceive situations, is through the lens of what you would do. But all that does is get you stuck in this spiral of, why don't they see my value? Why am I not good enough for them? What is it about me that I can change so that I can be better for them to accept me? And that's why I think it's so important that you don't look at this as if it has anything to do with you. You have to look at this at, what is this person's capacity to love, and does that capacity match what it is that I'm looking for? That's the key. All right. Hope that makes sense. Let's get more here. See, you're also torn. You're also at war with yourself regarding this connection, because you know you deserve more. You know you deserve commitment. You know you deserve someone who's going to choose you. You know you deserve someone who is going to show up for you. And you think about those things. You know, it's like, I know that I deserve more. I know that I deserve to be loved and valued and cared about in the ways that I deserve. But then your mind flips back to, but the potential. But the way that I feel with this person when things are good. I've never felt like this before. I've never experienced anything like this. And then you go back to, but I deserve more than one thing. And it's like it's this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, which leaves you stuck in not knowing what to do. Because what you're doing is you're getting caught up in mixing up the difference between how this person makes you feel and how you feel about them. Because if how you feel about somebody and how somebody makes you feel don't align, there's something more going on there. Because you can have intense feelings for someone, you can love someone, you can care about them, you can have empathy for them. But if they make you feel lonely, stressed, anxious, afraid of what's going to happen next, if they pull out insecurities rather than make you feel good about yourself, that isn't aligning with, but I really love and care about this person. Because you can shovel out all of the love and compassion and empathy that you have, but you are not loving yourself if you're shoveling all of that out to somebody who's not giving it back. And that's why what's going on here is going to take some brutal honesty with yourself, is making sure that you're not investing in this for what it could be potentially in the future, and instead looking at it for, am I investing in this person for how they treat me today, or am I investing in this person for how I hope that they treat me in the future? Because it's like, I feel like this person self-sabotages and runs and is emotionally unavailable. Maybe you know about their past. Maybe you know all those things. And maybe that's what you use to justify their lack of commitment. You're like, oh, well, yeah, they lack commitment, but they've had a really tough past. They've never really experienced love. I want to be that person to show them love. What about you, though? Don't you deserve that same love too? Don't you deserve to feel safe and secure and loved and cared about and respected? Because the answer to that is yes, you do. Just as much as you see the lovableness in this person, you have that same level of lovableness. And the more that you give your power away to this person by saying, I need you to be the one that loves me, the more that you end up sacrificing your needs, your desires, what it is that you deserve for the sake of maybe potentially this person eventually getting it together. And that is going to leave you feeling the way that you have been feeling, which is not so great. Because someone is unhappy. So you're obviously not happy in this. Your emotions are overriding your judgment. What is this? That's interesting. This Five of Pentacles was flipped over, and there's the Queen of Wands, which is you, obviously. And there's the Empress in reverse with the Five of Cups in reverse. Okay. So your emotions are overriding your better judgment in this connection because you feel so strongly for this person and for the potential of what this could be. You have a tendency to, and I kind of already said this, you're afraid of the loss, right? You're afraid of losing this person for good. And so you're so willing to self-sacrifice. Now, self-sacrifice is within itself not our capacity to love, but a reflection of our desire to be loved. And when we self-sacrifice, what we're saying is, I must self-sacrifice in order to be loved. And when that is the case, you continue, because the universe affirms exactly as the universe provides exactly as we affirm. The more energy of self-sacrifice you give out, the more energy of betrayal you're going to get back, because self-betrayal will always lead to external betrayal, because the relationships with other people are and always will be a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So keep that in mind, that I feel as if this is about taking your power back and making sure that nobody in this world, Sagittarius, decides whether or not you get to be loved in the way that you deserve except for you. But when we give our power away to other people and we say, I need it to be this person, or I need them to love me in this way, or whatever the case might be, we think that we need that in order to be happy or safe or fulfilled emotionally. What we're doing is we are saying this person's actions and inactions and emotional availability or inavailability directly affects my ability to be happy now and in my future. And that is never true. Your ability to be happy and loved lies within your power of knowing that you are deserving of it and acting in that capacity, settling for nothing less than somebody meeting you where you are at. Because it's not like you're asking for anything ridiculous when you're asking for reciprocation. All right. Man, this is very straightforward reading. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. All right. Yeah, okay. So Seven of Wands kind of being determination. The reason I chuckled is you have this determination for the Two of Wands in reverse. It's like this person is determined to stay out of alignment with what's good for them. It's like they're determined to not have what they desire in a way. Now, obviously, that's not consciously what they're thinking, right? But then this Justice in reverse is a total lack of accountability. So there's this lack of accountability in this person where, again, I feel like them sabotaging, not committing, not seeing what they have in this connection. You know that saying, it's their loss? You break up with someone and your friend's like, oh, it's their loss. But in the moment, you're like, shut up. That's how you have to learn to view relationships, is when somebody doesn't choose you or doesn't commit to you or doesn't see your value, it is literally their loss. They're missing out on what you bring to the table. But what we have a tendency to do is second guess if what we bring to the table is worthwhile. And we give that person the power to determine whether or not we're valuable. By simply thinking that them not choosing us means that we're not valuable. But that's never the case. When we're in pain because we're not being committed to or chosen or people are pushing us away, it's not that your pain isn't valid and that you shouldn't feel that way, because we have to process through everything that comes up. But we have to learn that where that's actually stemming from is the fact that we have given that person the control and the power to decide whether or not we're ever going to be loved. But again, based on what I know about the law of attraction and manifestation and what I've experienced in my own life, whatever you desire in your relationships is absolutely possible. There is literally no doubt that you can have the love that you desire and deserve. But the thing is, you have to believe that and act in that capacity and be willing to turn down anything that doesn't align with that in order for that to be the case. Now, one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about these types of readings is because I have experienced what it's like to fall into that trap of believing that somebody is the love of your life, the only person and that you will ever be able to be loved by, and you need them and they need you, because if you don't have each other, you're not going to fulfill your life purpose. Think twin flames, okay? I've fallen into that before. And I've believed that somebody else who actually treated me pretty poorly, didn't have the ability to show up in that relationship in the way that I deserved, and wasn't able to love me in the way that I desired. I believed that person was the love of my life for a while. And I got myself stuck in this trap. And what do I need to do to be better so that I can show up as more lovable in this connection? And what that did was that made me completely lose myself, because I was no longer living for myself. I was living for what I needed to do to attract that other person back into my life. Anyway, long story short, that didn't happen. But I that connection and everything that unfolded from that, it set off a really crazy, really amazing string of events in my life that led me to my current partner. And my current partner is hands down the person that I was supposed to be with. He loves me in a way that I've never been loved before, a way that I never thought was even possible. But I never would have had that connection if I hadn't have made this decision that I was deserving of more. I finally got to that point where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I chasing after somebody who isn't willing to see my value or love me in the way that I deserve and desire? And I feel like that moment of taking my power back, I don't feel like, I know that moment of taking my power back drastically shifted my energy, which shifted my reality. And that is what I want for every single person that I read for. So, all right, this person's energy toward Sagittarius, because you're dealing with someone who is sticking their heels in. They're saying, I don't want to change. I don't want to be different. I want to choose what's safe. I want to repeat cycles. I want to play, I want to be in a relationship with people that don't make me feel like I have to grow, that don't make me feel like I have to face myself. And that's not fair to you, to wait around for that person to decide when you're good enough to be loved. Okay? Okay. There's the control, the devil. I feel like what this person is kind of dealing with is not knowing there's a difference between somebody loving you and caring for you and somebody knowing how to love and care for you. Now, people can only love us to the extent that they love themselves. And if this person isn't loving themselves enough to not push away good things, they are in no way, shape, or form ready to show up in this connection in the way that you deserve. But that doesn't mean you can't be loved in the way that you deserve and desire. Because with the Three of Cups in reverse, it's almost as if they have this withdrawal. They've removed themselves from the equation before even really giving it a chance. And that's their control taking over. It's almost as if it's them saying, I would rather do what I have done my whole life, not be loved, not be valued, than actually put my heart on the line, be vulnerable, be open. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. It's just this person has some healing to do. And I feel as if what you're needing to see is that it's not your responsibility to wait around and choose them and not choose yourself in the meantime, waiting for them to do that. Hierophant in reverse. This person needs a reality check, a perspective shift, if you will. And then there's the Five of Wands. I mean, they're at war with themselves, and I honestly don't think that I'm reading someone who's even aware of that. I don't even think I'm reading for someone that knows they desire love and are actively pushing it away, which most of the time, someone who is sabotaging what's good for them, sometimes, a lot of times that can be a very subconscious act. But and I'm not saying like this person is hopeless and they're never going to be happy. That's not the point of this reading. What I'm saying is you can't bear the burden of this person's journey, because all you're doing is putting what is best for you on hold while this person figures it out. And if this person isn't willing to make the changes and do what's necessary to heal and to grow and to learn and to evolve, you cannot, because it will continue to hurt you, you cannot continue to pour yourself into somebody who is incapable of pouring into you. I mean, you can. I guess you can. You can do it, but you're going to continue to feel the way that you do. This is about you taking your power back, recognizing that you deserve more than what's being given to you, and making the best decision for you moving forward, which takes me to, in between this connection, you have allow for time and space with the Empress. I'm going to pull 9 different messages as well as an advice card to close out the reading. All of that will be in the extended, which the link is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Sagittarius, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.